Eels can confirm that Zac Lomax has been granted an immediate release from his playing contract to pursue opportunities outside the NRL. The club would like to thank Zac for his contribution during his time with the Eels in 2025 and wish him all the best for his future. Lomax's departure from the Eels follows Ryan Pappenhausen's exit, both linked to the proposed breakaway rugby competition 360, which is set to launch at the end of 2026. Bearshead.
Yeah.
I guess I've got a quote here from Jim Sarantinos in the Daily Telegraph. Lomax made it clear he wanted to pursue other opportunities elsewhere. There's obviously been the connection with R360. I really don't know where that's at. I have no idea, but he came forward to us and he asked if we would consider releasing him early. The main stakeholder in this is the coach. He's been pretty decisive and strong around decisions he has made in regards to personnel. I think the view that was that if we have a player whose focus may be elsewhere, and the opportunities came to exit that situation sooner rather than later, it gives you an opportunity to strengthen your roster somewhere else. Why not do that? It's not something we have been planning for the long term. I don't think you sign any play for 4 years and expect that 12 months into the contract they are going to be looking at other opportunities.
Yeah, well, the rumours were halfway through the year, just before going to when the Ashes team was announced.
Yep.
You know how he was named and then he was injured.
Sore back.
Yeah, you had to. So then people were saying, "Oh, I don't know whether he's going to be there next year at Parramatta." Well, now all the cards have fallen that way. So it's just weird that R360 we've had no comment from anyone,
no website, nothing,
nothing. The only thing
no pitch
I've heard was there's obviously been a pitch.
No, like public pitch. Like you don't know what's doing.
So unless they've got it, they're just about to launch something. Like we're going to see a big thing in the sky, a big skywriting.
You know what the funniest part with this R360 is, look, you've heard all the rumours around the players and like the two players that we just mentioned there, Pappenhausen and Lomax have been linked to it for, feels like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like we've had, you could tell when Pappenhausen was finishing up at Melbourne, they don't just do that willy-nilly without, him probably having something. Or you don't do that if you're Pappenhausen, if you've got an $800,000 contract at Melbourne Storm with no security to go and play somewhere else. So everyone was assuming that, this is eventually going to happen with 360. I haven't, maybe because we're not in the circles, but I've also asked people in rugby union as well. I haven't heard any actual rugby union players linked to it.
No, I looked online looking for, there's not much on there when you type it in, there's a lot of NRL chat, but there's nothing from,
there's no All Blacks,
English rugby union or the French rugby union. There's nothing coming out.
There's zero. I have heard zero rugby union players linked to it.
And this is unless they just said, look, we'll guarantee you your 4 years or 3 years to go now.
Yeah.
Just ask for a release. You won't be forgotten. So he's obviously going to get something because the comp isn't definitely going to kick off, is it? Like it hasn't been.
It's planned for next year, but I think with the rugby angle, guys, there's a World Cup in 2027, so no one really wants to go near it because they could jeopardise their position in the All Blacks, England side, Wallabies, all that. So maybe phase one is rugby league.
Yeah.
Over 25, 26, get as many rugby league players in. Once a World Cup.
Securing star power
now. And then get your, let's say, for lack of better words, B-grade rugby players to fill rosters for year one. Then year two could be post-World Cup. Let's get some of those stars, maybe some people at the end of their career or, people that are probably not going to be in the World Cup sides, but playing in Europe as well. They might be also involved in the inaugural season.
Our man PVL, he's had the thread around the 10 years. That's it, but that's been his big thing. And, whether he ends up following through that, we don't know. And they've also said it's going to be case by case as well, right?
And they said the agents are going to be under the pump.
Yeah.
Who's Lomax agent?
Gillison Shivovsky.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, John.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well.
A lot of the stuff that I'd heard, apparently it's this is where it'd be hard to police, Bear's Head.
Yeah.
For the players, it depends on whether they like. Do they have ambitions to come back if they go
Maybe
and
not.
get a heap of cash? Maybe they leave an R360 competition after 2 or 3 years and just go play rugby union over in Europe. But yeah, the threat from rugby league and I think from PVL to begin with was the 10 years. And like I said, we'll see how that plays out.
Well,
I
here's
think
this, the bar now says plenty of rugby union players have signed already, up to 10 Wallabies. So we haven't named them.
No, but no, that's not come out. That's what we're saying. Like, it's not probably in your best
yeah,
interest.
so who said
to release
so
that
is that
you
the Duck Man?
signed.
The bar now.
The Barnell? So Barnell, who are those players? Because, you know, my point is with the NRL players, they've said like there's been the rumours around there's 10 or whatever, 10 to 15, but there's been an indication that, you know, Pappy was one of them, Lomax, and it seems to be playing out that way. The rugby union threat, and this is to your point, Brooksy, I think the bigger clubs or the big countries, I think their threat was exactly what you're saying.
You'll lose your international.
If you are linked to R360, you won't be able to play in the upcoming World Cup. So I guess that's why there's probably been no big signing news with the big name players in rugby union.
So do you think that the 2026 version is going to be rank, and then 2027 after the World Cup, that's when it's going to kick?
That's
Possibly.
what you reckon?
It's a bit-
Take their licks early.
Yeah.
Like, continue to bring, just slowly drip feed.
Remember when we heard about Liv? We heard all these rumours and Greg Norman was going on. We hadn't heard any players, and then they just went bang, bang, bang. They went 4 or 5 in a row, and then everyone else jumped on board.
It took about a year.
Yeah.
Like I think I remember there was about 3 or 4 big names that went early.
Mickelson.
Mickelson was obviously the big name. And did he get Dustin Johnson first?
Yeah.
And at the time, Dustin was playing really good golf. He dropped off significantly once he went over there.
Brooks was pretty much Brooks Koepka was, and then they got
Shambo.
Remember Cameron Smith won the British Open?
Yep.
Hasn't done anything since.
Yep.
He's just sitting back with 160.
The Lomax thing's interesting, gents. Like signing a 4-year deal after leaving the Dragons early, signing a long-term deal, and then 1 year into his contract. For Eels fans, it must be. I know they're going to get the cap space and the war chest or whatever it is with Dylan Brown coming off the books as well, but it's just tough to swallow when you've seen this guy's pretty much your marquee signing in 25. He's played rep footy. He was basically going to the Ashes, barring the injury. He played for the Blues.
I said that earlier. I think on Bears said, were we doing the show together at the back end just after finals? And I said that because he was one of the names that was linked. I said, as you know, with the boys, and not to say, I can't say with all certainty. But back and groin injuries, mate, physios, they can never find anything. It's you know, if you've got an injury like that,
Hammy's another one too.
Yeah,
calf.
It's hard because it's like, you know, I'm all for this. Go get paid, all that.
Yep.
But as a fan, you can't cop that. He was on a real over the course of his contract, it was like 2.6. You know, and probably still had another big contract there after it. So it is tough as an Eels fan. I'd totally side with the frustration and anger there. But Riles will probably get some good guys to fill that void.
What about this here? So Lomax's departure is expected to strengthen the Eels bid to sign South Sydney and Kangaroo forwards Keon Kalonga-Matangi. But if you're a Parramatta fan, obviously it's not like for like. Are you happy that Lomax is going? And you got a chance of getting
possibly
Keon?
Yeah, I know. That's the silver lining of the situation, right?
I feel like they could have got Keon anyway with some of the moves that they've made over the last 2 years and kept them
both on there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Got a few texts coming through. I want to start with that one. Here we go. This one comes from Matt. This is to my point, Bears Head, about rugby union. Rugby doesn't have dripping taps / leaks like league. They're smart enough not to say anything or have the media scrutiny that the NRL has chasing stories. Hence, you wouldn't have heard about any rugby players.
Fair call. But I think it's got something to do with what you're saying, Brooks, about the World Cup coming.
Yeah.
Just keep it quiet and then boom.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
There'll be some announcements in the lead up if you are trying to.
If you don't make the squad, if you don't make your World Cup squad, you'll be going over.
Run homers. Zac Lomax is rugby league's answer to George Costanza. Leaves St George to go to Parramatta on less money to play centre, but plays wing, and at the highest level. Whatever Lomax chooses, you do the opposite and you'll be fine. Let Lomax go take the money. Someone will re-sign him again, like Fletcher's dog. Just keep him away from the digestibles and items. Cheers, Rich, Parrot and Dragon sympathiser.
Yeah.
Here's another one. He's a Parrot fan.
He beats to his own drum, Zachy.
Yeah. Here's one with, I guess, a Parramatta fan looking at the optimism of not having Zac and being able to do some stuff with that money. Simonson will play on the wing. I'm hearing Victor from the Roosters could be at Parramatta before the start of the season. Yeah. And Keon from South. There's no way Victor leaves the Roosters.
Now, I heard something 2 weeks ago, and I said, I don't believe this, but now it could be a friend of a friend who is involved with a certain club, Penrith, Brian To'o to Parramatta. Now, that makes sense. And when at the time, I went, no way. And he goes, mate, I'm just saying. This is what the bloke told me. I said, mate, I don't believe you. But now I'm starting to think, imagine that. Is that a good swap? Not if you're a Penrith fan. You know what
Origin winger for Origin winger.
Because you know how there was talk, Brian To'o was on unders when Jerome Luai went to the Tigers and his nose was out of joint.
Can't keep them all.
Can't keep them all, as they say. If Parramatta went, hey, I got 750/800, Brian, get this in here.
Yeah. I'd give him more.
How many? Oh, absolutely.
He'd be $1 million player. Just
But
social media stuff as well.
We'll
We take a break and we'll. If you want to call
only
us,
thing is, he's still a winger. You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.